just outside of Copper Harbor, Michigan, on the shores of Lake Superior. We are standing in a place where 1.1 billion years ago, North America began to split apart. This is called the Mid-Continent Rift System. And as the continent began to split apart, massive amounts of lava flows erupted in the center of a rift valley. This is very similar to what's happening in Iceland today. The rocks we're standing on are not volcanic though. These are part of the Copper Harbor conglomerate. These are sedimentary rocks that were eroded from highlands to the south of this mid-continent rift. Now, in the rift, we have these very hot, mineral-rich fluids that start rising from the center of the rift and flowing through the rocks and flowing through cracks in the rocks. And as they flow through there, they deposit different kinds of minerals, including native copper, ultimately creating the world's largest known deposits of native copper. Here, though, we are looking at these minerals. You'll see this white and very dark bluish-green mineral. That's chrysocolla. That is a hydrous copper silicate. It is formed by something called supergene enrichment that occurs where the copper that was deposited gets altered by later geologic processes. Now, these rocks used to be much more prominent in the past, before lots of people were like picking them apart. And the voyageurs, the French trappers in the 1700s, used these prominent blue-green rocks as a landmark, and they called them La Roche Verte, the green rocks. Now in 1840, Douglas Houghton, the first state geologist of Michigan, mapped this area, and he also noted La Roche Verte. And then in 1841, he published a report that outlined the mineral riches of the Upper Peninsula, and this began a mining rush to the area. And a couple of the people who followed this early mining rush were John Hayes and his friend Jim, and Jim Raymond. And they, in fact, had numerous mining lands around here, and they dug 2 shafts right in this area, basically trying to extract the sort of thing in La Roche Verte. Those were unsuccessful because there's a lot of water here, right? They were very difficult to de-water. So they followed this vein that way off to Fort Wilkins. They sank 2 more shafts. Those also weren't successful. But lucky for John Hayes and Jim, they also owned mining lands elsewhere south in the peninsula. And they got some favorable reports from down near the Greenstone Cliff, and they opened a mine down there that ended up being the first successful mine in the copper country. That is the Cliff Mine in 1845.